Okay. Episode 6, 420, blaze it, yo. Not really. It's 419, and the episode's going to air on 421, but whatever. 420, blaze it, yo. Brett, how you doing on this wonderful day?
Someone's ready for 420.
I am seeing Phish tomorrow, and I'm so excited that I've just been like dancing around this entire day.
Did you plan for that, or did it just like happen to, was it a coincidence that it fell on 420?
It was a coincidence. So these are the New Year's shows from December and January, and COVID canceled them. Boo. And not a political thing, just like boo COVID. Yeah, we're good. No, so COVID canceled them, so Phish rescheduled, and the ticket I had just happened to wind up being on 420. So I'm sure they'll do some silly stuff. They're gonna open with a song called Blaze On. I'd bet any amount of money.
I think the stars aligned for you on this one.
Yeah, it's nice. It's gonna be fun. I even took off work. My friend Goldie, shout out Goldie. Generous Jams, he's got an album coming out tomorrow, but or Friday. Well, yeah, tomorrow.
On 420?
Yes, on 420. So tomorrow, not Friday, but when the people listen to this, it'll be around then.
It'll be yesterday.
Anyway. What's that expression? Today's yesterday is tomorrow's today.
Time is a flat circle.
Russ Cole. No, not Cole. That's an artist. What's the guy?
I think you're right. It is Russ Cole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True Detective.
Yeah. Oh man, season 1 was so good. Anyway,
Epic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just Brett and I today, and we're gonna ride this wave of energy all the way through. We are the interview today, so hold on tight. But yeah, so Goldie's coming up tomorrow to see Phish, and I figured, why not take off work? We're gonna hang out. We're gonna go into the city, get ready for the show, and then party time.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, you know, I haven't gone this long without seeing them, probably since I've started seeing them. So I'm itching.
I still have to join you for one of those because I said I've never seen Phish before, so
yeah,
it's on my list.
They're doing Atlantic City in August, so maybe we could make one of those happen. It's always fun, like standing on the beach seeing a concert, as we learned at Warped Tour.
Are they better on the beach or in the garden in December?
I mean, the beach is like magical. Like when you're standing next to the ocean, and there was a full moon last time I saw them. I'm sure that can't be guaranteed, but yeah, it's just something about it is just really great. But the garden's also the garden. It's the Mecca, you know.
The ultimate concert venue.
Yeah, so it's really hard to say. I like seeing them in all places, all states. Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm trying to also get tickets for Friday, which is proving to be very difficult. I like to, so at the garden, I like to sit in the 100s, kind of same deal for Prudential Center. You sit in the 100s, it's like the lower bowl seats. And I know you know that, but I'm just putting it out there for the people. And you get a nice seat and you can see the stage very well, and it's great. The floor is good too if you don't mind standing. But when you go above the 100s, at least at Phish, it gets a little hairy. You get into like, there's a lot of cigarette smoke and like just like the cheap seats. I don't want to put down the people up there, but some of the people up there are pretty grimy. So I'd always rather quantity or quality over quantity.
So be in the lower bowl on 420.
Yeah, so the way Phish does it, which is pretty cool. Brett. Yes, the lower bowl is going to be packed tight for 420.
This is already off like the perfect 420 show.
Oh man, you really couldn't have scripted it better. It's going to be so good. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. Tomorrow's like Christmas. Not just because like 420 is cool, but like I'm just really excited to see Phish. I love them. They're my happy place. But the way they do it with their tickets, which I really appreciate, is they do a lotto system. So they'll announce their tour, and then you put in the dates you want to go to with your credit card. And if you get picked, you'll get charged, and then you'll get your tickets. If you don't get picked, it's up to Ticketmaster, it's up to the secondary market, whatever happens. But I appreciate that they at least give a percentage of tickets a chance to go to their fans. So with these, I got lucky. I got tickets on the floor right behind the soundboard. So it's gonna be good. That's where they calibrate the sound to. So it's gonna
Hit the lottery.
Yes, big time. Big time. I could have flipped these and like tripled my money, but I don't want to do that. I also don't want to buy tickets that are tripled, which is happening for Friday.
Experiences, greater sign. Money on the other side of greater sign.
Yes, but I also like to experience my house, and if I can't pay
Well,
my
that too,
mortgage because
yeah.
I'm going to
Well, when you put it that way.
No, you're absolutely right. And my friend Josh wants to come, who's never seen them. So our plan Friday, and I will recap this next week to let everyone know how it goes. But we're just gonna go in Friday and wander around Madison Square Garden outside and try and buy tickets. So
And Josh was with us for Tool, right?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be an adventure on Friday.
Yeah, he is a wild card and a half, and I love him for it. Yeah, so we're gonna see how Friday goes. I fully plan to go in. I know we can get into the building, but I worry we might wind up with lousy seats. But
The seats just warned against.
yeah, it'll be an adventure. One time, me and Goldie had seats so high up in the garden that we couldn't even get to them. It was just the stairs going up to our seats were just packed with people dancing and partying and enjoying the show. We couldn't get through the bouncer, so we like squeezed onto one of the other rows just on the end. The kid next to us didn't mind, and at one point the bouncer asked to see our tickets, and we show him, and he's like, "You're up there," and then he looks and he goes, "Yeah, whatever, it's fine." There was no
Even the
chance.
guard gave up at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we could just get into the building, it'll be fun.
Well, I
So,
wish you both good luck.
thank you.
Hopefully you both know where you are for at least the early part of the night.
Yeah, if we can establish a spot and feel comfortable there, then that'll be a huge win. If I'm like kind of looking around the whole time, like these aren't really my seats, am I bumping into this guy? Then I'm not gonna be able to enjoy it fully, but that's the risk you take. It's
I
gonna
think
be
you'll make
good.
it work.
Yeah,
I have faith in you.
thank you. I hope so. I hope it works. I'm sure it will. And I'm sure even if it doesn't work, it'll be a pretty funny time.
It'd be a good story either way.
Yeah, exactly. Do it for the adventure.
A story that you'll be able to tell on next week's show, as you
Yes.
teased.
Yes. Yeah. We gotta help make sure I remember. I talked about going to the Mezingers alone, and we never followed up on that.
We
I
didn't
went
talk about that in the show.
No,
Oh,
it
well.
wasn't much of a story. Well, I guess we could talk about it. I went to it, but I didn't go alone. I went with my coworker whose friend works at Starland, and my coworker is pregnant. So her friend who works there hooked us up with star seating, which was like we had a table and a waitress. It was me, her, and some other friends.
Time out. There's tables and waitresses in Starland somewhere.
Yes. So
Where?
okay.
Where is this?
Okay, follow me. Follow me. We walk into Starland, we walk through the metal detectors, and they're like, "Oh, you can't have that vape pen." And I'm like, "What the hell, man? I always bring this in." And they're like, "No." So then I pretend to put it in my car, but I put it in my shoe and go in. So now we go in. Still with me?
I'm still with you.
Okay. Now we go in, we go up to the window, and we're on a list. And they're like, "Oh, damn." And we're like, "Yeah." So then they let us in. That's not exactly what happened. I think they gave us some tickets, and they weren't impressed that we were on a list, but I was impressed.
They just let you in.
They just let us in. They took one look at us and they're like, "Oh shit, these people definitely got to see the show tonight." Um, so anyway, we walk in, walk to concessions. So now we concessions, the window, not concessions. What's the just will call? I don't know.
Will call window.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. All right, so now we're in Starland and merch is on our left. We go straight, we make a right, and now the bar is ahead of us. And now you could go down those stairs and go left towards like the main floor area. You make another immediate left towards that other bar on the left.
The one where we're at for front bottoms.
No, front bottoms, we were on the other side.
Okay, so this is like the first one when you walk in on the left.
Yeah, exactly. Walk in, left, left.
We know Starland very well at this point.
We are cartographing Starland right now. That is not the right word. We are mapping it out. No,
I think mapping it out works.
yeah, let's not turn cartographer into a verb. But if you make that hard left, there's a whole like slightly raised area of tables, and that's star seating apparently. So we were stars. It was awesome.
It must be new then, because I feel like I don't remember seeing like tables over there or waitresses for that point.
Yeah, I never noticed it before if it does exist, but it was pretty cool. Like, she brought me beers all night, and our table it wasn't like a wide area, so there was no one. There was one table in front of us, but it wasn't like I couldn't see the stage, and I was able to just lean against a wall the whole time, which that's real nice.
Instead of somebody like sweating on you the whole night.
Yeah, exactly. And then there were moments, this was my favorite part of star seating. There were moments where people would walk up who were not stars like myself, and they would stand all up in my space. And when it first happened, I was kind of annoyed, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to do anything about it, like, whatever. And the waitress comes back, and she was like this, like, tiny girl, like, I don't know, 5 foot, whatever. And she would go up to these dudes and be like, "Are you supposed to be here? Let me see. No, you got to go." And she just like kick them out. And it was awesome. So once I realized that was happening, anytime someone showed up, I really didn't mind even more, because I knew as soon as my waitress came back, she would kick them out. She would bounce them. So
She's a waitress bouncer, pretty much.
yeah, yeah. So I I gave her a good tip, because she wasn't just bringing drinks. She was also bound. Like, it's got to be intimidating as like a little like girl to tell grown ass men to leave a spot. I don't know. I would feel awkward about it as a fellow grown ass man. Like, I don't want confrontation. But at one point, these like four like older chicks walked up, and they all like stood on the wall next to me and like sandwiched me out of my spot. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I've been here for half the show. But I knew waitress would be coming back. And sure enough, she eventually comes back and she kicked them all out. So it was very, very enjoyable for me. I wish I could have my own personal bouncer for every show I go to.
I mean, that sounds pretty nice.
Just be in the crowd. Because you get in, you get there maybe before the opener, and you establish your spot. And what, 2 hours goes by? And
it's
then right
gone.
before the band comes on, some big tall dude and his drunk friend stand right in front of your line of sight. And you're like, man, what the hell? I earned these seats. I worked for this spot. We worked for this spot.
Yep.
And it's always disappointing. So yeah, private bouncer, kick those people out would be pretty sweet.
So it was a good Mezingers show then.
Oh man, they were great. They were so good. They played an awesome set. Played so many good songs, so many songs I forgot about, which actually brings me to an interesting topic, which I think I brought up to you at Tool, because I found myself doing this a lot lately, where I'm seeing a band that at one point I listened to nonstop, but I haven't listened to them recently. So usually before a show, you listen to the band leading up, get get the songs down, get all excited. Instead, I don't listen. And then when I see them, it's like a flood of memories coming back. Like, oh, I forgot about this song. This song's awesome. Just a whole different like perspective. I kind of like it.
You like it better than prepping?
It varies. And it definitely depends on the band. Like ultimately, I want to know the songs. If I don't know the songs, then it's less fun no matter what. But if it's a band that I know the songs and I don't listen to them leading up, I think I might like it better because some of them you forget about and then you hear it start and it just gives you that little bit more of excitement.
I feel like we could do that with like Blink or like a Day to Remember, Foo Fighters. Like those are the kinds of bands where like you don't really have to prep, but like for Pup coming up in a few weeks, I'm definitely gonna dive deep into like their whole catalog before we go to that show. That way I'm all brushed up and can recognize the songs when they're being played.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Pup, I feel like I'm like the one performing. Like I'm reading lyrics in the background because I want to know the songs in and
yeah,
out because it's just fun when there's a pause and you could come in at the right time or just little things like that. We saw the front bottoms once and I was with one of my friends who had recently got into them and there was a pause in a twin size mattress when he comes back in with like she hopes I'm cursed forever blah blah and he came in early and the whole
oh
crowd was
no.
quiet and my friend just belted out the lyrics wrong. I
That's
don't
why you
know.
prep.
That's right. I don't know if it's one of those cases where because I was with him, like we noticed it way more, or if it was very evident. I feel like it was very evident, but it was so funny to me because you sing those lyrics from your heart, and he really came in hard, and he was alone. I was like, I don't know this guy who brought him to the show.
Because like front bottoms are a band, like you have to pretty much know every lyric going into that show, or else you'll feel like you're left out of the party because everyone's shouting like every single word along with them.
Yeah, 100%. The first time I ever saw the front bottoms, I went with the aforementioned Goldie, and he was really into them. He said we have to see this band. They were playing at a minor league baseball stadium, like the Blue Claws or something like that. And I maybe listened to a couple songs the day before. I didn't know them at all, and there were these two guys in front of us who were just singing every word. And I remember thinking, like, what's going on here? Like, these guys really like this band. This is almost kind of weird, but like they're having fun. So whatever. But this is a little weird. And then like fast forward,
They said,
like not even like a month later, I fully understood. And now I see them and I'm one of the weird guys
uh,
singing every song.
I
We
feel like
both
that's
are.
what the we really both are. It's true, but I feel like Pup's gonna be one of those shows too.
Yeah.
I have
They're
no doubts.
the best is when it's a lyric based band that also has killer instrumentals because then you can do it all. Like Taking Back Sundays like that. We were talking about them last week. Front Bottoms, Modern Baseball, Sorority Noise, all those bands that just the lyrics really resonate with you. It just it's so fun to just sing them along with the people who wrote it.
Menzingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny coming back to the Mezingers, like when the first song started, the energy was so high. And I'm back here in star seating, leaning against the wall. And I was singing and I was headbanging and I was dancing, but I wasn't in it, you know? I wasn't in it. I wasn't sweating. I wasn't fist pumping and screaming. And for a song, it really kind of bummed me out. And I was thinking, should I run into the crowd? And then I tried to think about being in the crowd and kind of worrying about sweating on people. Can I see the band? Is a crowd surfer going to fall on my head? And I thought, you know what, just stand back here with a perfect eye level view of the band and enjoy the show from here. And I did. And it's not to say I wouldn't still love being in the crowd, but might speak to us just being older. But like when we saw the front bottoms last time, were you disappointed not being fully in the mix?
A little bit, but at the same time, I was happy like a crowd surfer wasn't falling on me, and that me being 5'7" could see perfectly clear, and not to worry about someone being like 5'9" and not being able to see over them. But I mean, we are older now, so it's okay to like post up at the bar for some shows. But there are some that like the Silverstein show we saw before quarantine. Like that show was nuts, and I can't imagine us not being in it for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna mention them the same time you did. They're a band you have to be in the middle for, and Pup, I think we're gonna want to be in for.
We're gonna be in that one, yeah.
Because we haven't done it before. That which also kind of matters a little bit. Like the front bottoms, we've seen 5 to 8 times now. Not even sure, but it's like when you want a taste of everything. Like even with Phish, like I took seats at the Garden a few years ago, and we were behind the stage, and there's not like a backdrop, so you can still see the band and everything. And if it was my only time seeing Phish or my first time, I wouldn't want those seats because you want to see the band. But this was like my 15th time seeing them. So I'm like, I'll take behind the stage seats. It'll be a unique perspective. And it was. I could watch them interacting with each other during the songs, like nonverbal communications of what they want to do. The lights were entirely different than when you're in the crowd and they're facing you. From behind the stage, it looked like there was just paint like being splattered across the crowd.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it
Did it
was.
sound different too?
The sound was great. We must have had speakers facing us. I can't imagine we didn't, but I didn't actually notice. The sound was fine though. There's times where I've seen them and we've been really close to the front, and that the sound isn't good because you're ahead of where the speakers are projecting. So the sound's almost bypassing you. But you're sacrificing sound quality for being 20 rows away, which is also awesome. So it all has its pros and cons, which is why it's fun to see bands so many times because you can try different things.
Which we know from plenty of experiences.
Yeah.
But that makes me think though. So for like some 41 and Simple Plan in a few weeks, so that's probably going to be like a half standing one and a half in it.
Yeah. So
I
Simple
mean, Summer
Plan.
Stage is unique, but
Simple Plan, I don't give a shit about. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. I'll listen to the songs. I'll sing along to the ones I know, and I'm sure it'll be more than I realize. And I'm not gonna be like when I'm there, I'm gonna be having fun. But I don't care about Simple Plan. I am there for some 41,
yeah,
and I want to be in the mix. Nicole's not coming. She has a shower, so like, which also like matters, because if the people you're with don't want to be in it, I want to ultimately be with my friends wherever that is, or my wife, who's also my friend. But like, I wouldn't go to a show with Nicole and be like, all right, peace. Like I'm going in the crowd. But for some 41, I'm gonna be in that crowd. And I mean, I've been listening to that album for like 2 decades. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm assuming it's like the Rise Against crowd.
Yeah,
Like similar to that, right?
I think so. Rise Against. So remember, my uncle got lost for that show.
We did lose him. Yep.
He got sucked into the mosh pit like a vortex that reached out and grabbed him and sucked him in. And he said he had a bouncer. So there's the circle mosh pit, and then there's like a buffer of like 5 to 10 rows up to the stage, and then the mosh pit's out from that. And he said it was so violent and crazy that he tunneled his way through to the front and looked at the bouncer, and he's like, "You got to get me out of here." And he said the bouncer just grabbed him from under his armpits like a child and just lifted him up over the fence. And he went over to the bar and he watched the whole show from there. He didn't even try to come back to us. And we weren't even in the mosh pit. Like he could have came back to us.
Yeah, that's like then again, that was like the first show back after like a year and a half of no concerts whatsoever. So there's
Yes.
just like a ton of energy for that show. So that's why like the pits actually had vortexes to them, which usually doesn't happen. Usually, if you don't want to be in it, you can find your way to not be in it. But
Yeah, that's what I think happened. It was just like 2 years of pent up like aggression and not being at shows, all unleashed in a Rise Against crowd. Because I don't know, I've been in some heavy pits for Rise Against actually, so maybe they just do draw that kind of energy, but
there's an undertow in the pits.
only at the Tool shows.
Nice.
I was listening to Prince and the Hyenas on your recommendation this week.
Prince Daddy and the
Prince
Hyena.
Daddy, excuse me.
Can't forget the daddy part.
No, never forget Daddy. They're really good.
They're awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few good experiences with this album, like putting it on in the right setting, which I think matters when if an album's gonna stick or not. Like I was walking to the record store the other day, it was nice out, and I put it on and it just like fit the mood perfectly. And then today I had it on and I'm in such a good mood today that probably no matter what I listen to, other than the Spice Girls, I would just love it forever.
Like that's how they are. Like they have like this album has like that quiet loud to it where like you don't necessarily have to be in the greatest of moods, but there's songs like Hollow as You Figured, which just like shreds and shows off like how good of
Yo,
guitars they are.
I wrote that one down.
Yeah.
Because it goes into like a heavy metal riff. That actually reminds me of Sum 41 a little bit because they're singing and like not being crazy heavy, but then all of a sudden this metal influence comes in and they're
Right in the
chugging
middle.
away like a Metallica breakdown. And right before it goes into that, it gets quiet and then a hi-hat is just like ting ting or like does something. And then it just kicks in and it's so cool. Like, yeah, that song's awesome.
I love a good hi-hat too.
Yeah. Just sprinkle it in a quiet moment and it's just
right before a
always great.
breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Like A Day to Remember clearing their throat is like a verbal hi-hat.
And they too have the hi-hats too.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they due? I feel like they're due.
Was last year they put it out.
They just put out an
after
album.
they delayed it for like 2 years.
Yeah, true. They're not due. They just put an album out that I didn't like that much. So in my head, it never happened. We don't have to go down that though. But
no, you can say that for another day.
Prince Daddy and the Hyenas. They're a band who their name almost makes you not want to listen to them. Is that shallow? Maybe. Book by its cover, probably. But like you told me their name and I like rolled my eyes on it without even like meaning to. And then
they're that good though.
Yeah, no, they don't need it. Like the music's great. He does like this yelling singing that works really well, which I wasn't expecting because I feel like the first song was instrumentals for like a minute. So I put it on as I was walking down my street. And that's also really exciting, putting on a band that you know nothing about. So they're just jamming, no vocals. And then he comes in with the vocals and his voice could have been anything. And I didn't know. Obviously, I never listened to them. So like everything they did was new to me and was a surprise. And I thought it all worked.
I really enjoy them. Like I found out about them because I heard the song called Really, which is like probably their most streamed song on Spotify. And like they get aggravated because like people always want to hear it, like at shows apparently. Because like it's that good of a song. It is one of the best endings you'll ever hear.
Wow.
Of a rock song.
Then they have to embrace
epic builds, and then it all comes together and it explodes in your face and ends the album. It's incredible.
This album had a song that sounded so much like a closer that I knew it was the last song. Like I was listening to the album and this part of the song was happening. And I thought like, this has to be the last song. It just has to be. And it wasn't, but it kind of was.
Was it Black Mold, which is like 8 minutes? I think that's what it's called. Black Mold, right?
Or is it? Yeah, exactly.
It's like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah. And it goes into this crazy, like, you know, A Day in the Life by the Beatles before it like switches at the half where it gets all like weird and distortiony and like swishy.
And whatever instrument that is.
Yeah. I honestly I don't even know if it's an instrument or it's just like crazy feedback that they like put through, but it just it felt like the whole album was coming to a peak. And it's not the last song, but it kind of is because the last song is like a gentle acoustic song. So I think it still works. Like you could feel the album ending. And then I like that they sneak in the one more
Yeah.
song, but
They let
it's
you catch your
still,
breath before it ends.
yeah, exactly. I forget what the last song was about, but this album had some good lines. There was one song that said something like, I'll leave the sync on just for the sound, which I thought was kind of cool, like a nice white noise kind of reference.
That was cool. Wasn't there another line like you have posters of bands on the wall I'd never heard of or something like that?
Oh, I love that. I want to get some band posters that I never heard of. I actually went on Etsy to buy a Chester poster after last week's episode.
Oh,
Because
I went down the Linkin Park rabbit hole after last week's episode.
dude, the Given Up scream that I sent you, my friend listened to us and then he saw that on TikTok, which is probably a coincidence or everything's just listening to everything. I don't know. But he held this scream and it was AOL sessions, which was really cool because like what a throwback. AOL sessions.
They had some good sessions back in the day, though.
Probably.
They had like Shine Down and stuff.
We should look at those because I don't remember specifics, but I'm sure they had some great ones. He held this scream for 17 seconds in Giving Up, and it just like reinforced everything we said. He's the GOAT.
That was like me listening to Live in Texas last week and then sending you that video too.
The album gets me so pumped up.
That was like their two best out, like the tour after their two best albums came out.
Yeah, I think there's a what's it called? Like a YouTube video of them performing that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's definitely the Texas show, but it's a live show from that like era where only Meteora and Hybrid Theory were out, and the crowd is like one giant like ocean swaying back and forth, and it gets
I think it was that show.
wild. I want to say it was.
I feel like there was a DVD that came with that.
Yeah, maybe I didn't actually own it. My friend owned it, so I'll listen to his every now and then. But I never watched the DVD, but unless I did on YouTube. But those live shows were absolutely wild.
And I never got to see them. Shall always regret, probably.
I'm sorry.
I live on the live videos.
It's still, I mean, there's still so much energy from the live videos. But yeah, they would have been a good one to see. That's what like we were talking about a few weeks ago now, the Paul McCartney show. So I have to drive to South Carolina for a wedding. And we decided we're going to drive, not fly. And the Paul McCartney show would be the night before or the night of, like in the sense
in
that
South Carolina.
The show's in Jersey, and then we would leave for South Carolina. And I looked up other stops. Nothing works. There's like a Boston show on like a Wednesday. Like I can't do that. So like if I want to see Paul McCartney on this tour, I'd have to see him the day before driving like 14 hours. I don't know.
But it's like we said, when you have the chance to do it, you got to do it.
I know. I'll regret it forever if it turns out to be my only chance. I don't want to put that out there, but like he's old, so like it's obviously gonna like cross my mind. I was hoping, I'm like, can he just like be in one of the Carolinas while I'm there?
Like playing a bar.
Yeah, right. Just come on in under like a fake name, like I don't know, Steve McCartney. I couldn't think of a name that rhymes with Paul. That's not Paul.
Mick Cartney.
There you go. Oh, this guy, who could he be? He's got a funny British accent, English accent, whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. I have the StubHub gift card, so like I technically wouldn't have to pay for the tickets, which is a huge
A
plus.
bonus.
Yeah, but it's not great timing. So we'll
Make it
see.
work.
We'll see.
Nice.
Hey!
Nice.
So you texted me something very interesting the other day.
That we completely forgot for last week's episode, but
What's my age again? Has turned 23.
23.
Woo! And
And I
now
still like it.
I don't like it anymore. Nope. Horrible song. And I will not like it for a whole year.
Until it turns 24.
Yeah, then I'll like it again. But right now, awful song. What's it even about? Did he wear cologne or did he walk alone? I don't know. Trash. Did you get those lyrics mixed up or did you always think it was one thing?
I always thought it was Work Alone.
Oh, well, that would be correct.
Okay.
I
Because when you said that, I was like, wait, is it Walk Alone?
I thought he walked alone to get the feeling right of walking. I guess it doesn't make as much sense. I mean, wearing cologne also doesn't. It makes more sense than walking alone.
When he calls the girl's mom and tells her that her husband's in jail.
The state looks down on sodomy. Nope. No, it's 23. So those are childish, disgusting lyrics. I can't even believe a song like this would be on the radio. I
I do
mean,
wonder what it was like back then. I mean, we were 9, but like, what hearing that song for the first time must have been like.
I don't think like, I mean, I guess I don't know firsthand, but I don't think a band singing about as stupid shit like this was mainstream,
No, I think the
right?
video kind of won people over because like it's just them running around naked for like 3 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that definitely won
That was
people
my
over.
first
And
experience. I was like, what the hell is this?
they did um a couple artists did like a tribute to What's My Age Again a week or two ago. And um I wish I remembered this beforehand, but they copied like the video running naked through things.
It was like
And
shot for shot that video, right?
yeah, yeah, it was like some of like the new guys, like Travis's universe, but I appreciated the callback,
The Travis verse.
the Travis verse, but I can't get behind the song now that's 23. I hate it. Advocating for prank phone calls. Do you know the danger that could bring to the world? Is your refrigerator running? I don't know. You better go catch it. That's disgusting. People's lives could be lost from something like that.
This is pre-caller ID though, so now you can just ignore unknown calls.
Well, we get like 19 of them a day.
Yep.
If one of
Legit
those
though.
gets me at a bad moment, I just scream into the phone. And it's never a person, but it makes me feel a little better. Yeah, prank phone calls. What else was in here? Um, it was prank phone calls, sodomy, and turning on the TV. Not in that order. It's a good song.
Yeah. The slow pretty part.
The slow pretty part they would announce. uh it's pretty amazing. Was this their biggest hit at the time? Must have been.
How big was Damn It? Like I'm honestly not sure.
Well, they recorded it like on 3 different albums, so it
Yeah,
must
they
have been
did.
pretty big. Um this was definitely the first Blink song I ever heard.
Mine too.
I was at my cousin's birthday party. I don't know what age she was turning, 99. She must have been turning like 10, 11, somewhere around there. And we had like, I think it was a Now CD and just played it on repeat the whole party.
Enema's still phenomenal.
Yeah, it's it's really good through and through. And the opener, Dumpweed opens it, right?
Dumpweed. Yeah.
It's like one of the best like get hyped opener album songs. Like we should do that one week. Just think of our favorite album openers. I think Dumpweed would definitely be up
That'd make
there.
the list.
Definitely top 5 probably.
Downfall of Us All.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good too. All Killer No Filler we're talking about earlier with the children of the
Or the
beast
intro.
embrace to scorn and hate the human race. Then it goes into Nothing on My Back. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Hear that
moshing
live soon.
hard. That show's a lot closer than we think.
It
I
is like 2
think
weeks away.
Oh man.
No, 3 weeks away. 3
3,
weeks away.
1, 2. Yeah, first or second weekend of May. So pretty close.
May 7th.
Oh, then yeah, like 2.5, which means we're seeing Pup in 2.5 plus 2 days.
Yep. What a weekend.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. We should try and do some like live podcast with like the Pup crew, like post show reflections.
We are rolling deep for that show. So
Yeah, we're gonna have a crew. It's gonna be so good. Did you buy they did a shirt that just says Pup the band is cool and good?
no.
And
I
it
didn't
just
see
says,
this.
it says Pup the band is cool and good. And they were advertising it, like selling it at their shows, but then they did one in like blue and yellow for like Ukraine. So I ordered one and I know Vinny ordered one.
I didn't
And
see that. I wonder
I
if they're
think
still on sale.
I think we're gonna wear matching shirts to the show of the band that we're seeing, which might be the lamest thing ever done, but I want to do it.
Well, now I got to get one.
You
So
have to.
matching you guys.
You have to. Just wear a shirt that you don't like there, buy the new shirt, and then throw away the old shirt.
Unless it's still online. I'm going to take a look after this.
All right, I'll send you the link if it's still up. What a great slogan. But yeah, it feels like Blink almost invented being like the goofy band that's like self-aware and doesn't take themselves seriously. And I mean, I guess I don't know. I honestly don't know if there were bands before them that did it. I'm sure like there was punk bands, like, but
Maybe like Real Big Fish.
yeah, those ska groups
Are
are
they ska
probably
bands?
ska's like a subgenre of punk.
Yeah. I feel like none of them really took themselves too seriously. Like the Mighty Mighty Bosstones had one guy that his one job was to dance. And that was his like that was his title in the band.
Oh man,
I still get a kick out of that.
what a role. Well, what do you do in the band?
He just dances on stage while everyone plays.
I dance all the time. That's a pretty good gig. You can
It
shake a
can't beat it.
tambourine. Yeah, what's my age again? Congrats on turning 23. We hate you now, and we won't hate you in like 11 months.
A year. Yeah.
So we wanted to get into our favorite anticipated spring summer albums. I found a website that tells me all the upcoming albums, which if you have to look them up, are they that anticipated? Maybe not, but I needed some help. I have
How many
a few.
we picking? We picking 5?
1, 2,
4,
3, 4,
5.
5. I have 6, but you know, I'm sure some of yours overlap.
Yeah, that's why I made my list. It's like 10.
10. I didn't even like recognize 10 bands coming out with albums.
I might be breaking some news to you then.
I hope you are. A few of mine had unspecified dates, which I don't know if it counts because if it's not spring or summer, then it's a faulty pick. But
Like one of these started to get teased today, and I'm assuming it's going to be a summer album, but I'm not sure yet. We'll probably know Friday.
Okay.
If you want me to start with that one.
Yeah. All right. You start then, and we'll see what it is.
So the Wonder Years have started teasing something,
Ooh.
and they're long overdue for a new album. I think their last one came out in 2018, so it's been 4 years.
Wow.
So they're having people pre-save like a phone number on Spotify. I'm not sure if it's a single or not, but there's supposed to be an announcement coming later in the week, but I'm assuming it's finally that long anticipated new album.
That they're going to announce via random phone number.
Unless the phone number is the name of a song. Like when you click the pre-save link, it takes you to like a Spotify page with a phone number on it.
Wow.
I don't know if you're supposed to call that and then maybe get like a sample of the song. I'm not sure. I didn't try it.
I like it. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of teasers lately. This is definitely one we haven't seen yet.
No, I got it really excited though because
Wow. Yeah, no, that might trump just about everything on my list. Well, no, that
there's some good ones.
it's ahead of a few. So I'm gonna take this one just because I know you're gonna take it. So I gotta get in on it. Silverstein, 2 weeks, May
It's
9th.
top of mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
May 6th.
Oh, sorry, my 9 was upside down. I typed it upside down. So my fault. Misery Made Me. Sounds heavy. And they also seem like they're enjoying life way too much to have an album called Misery Made Me. But I don't know what they're tapping into.
I'm very excited for that one. And we have a guest lined up for that show too, which I'm even more excited about.
Yeah. We're gonna that's they don't they've never disappointed me.
Nope.
Ever. I've seen them probably more than any other band, like other than Phish. I think they're at the top of my list. They never disappoint. They
No.
always write good music. It still somehow seems fresh, even though they're the same band. They have killer breakdowns. His voice just gets better. Shane
Somehow.
Shane
Told?
Told?
Todd? Told?
Yeah,
Told?
I was thinking Todd.
Yeah.
So Told sounds good too. Yeah.
Like what's like their worst album is probably like was it that Rivals and Departures?
What?
Even though that one's not that bad.
I have it on vinyl.
No, but like that would be like their worst one, but it's still a really good album. Like that just shows like how
Yeah.
deep their catalog is.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be my worst for them. They put out those 2 back to back. Was the ones with like the buffalo on them?
That one was great. That's when we saw them in Asbury.
But didn't they put out
It's the
another
way the
one
wind
like?
blows.
Didn't they put out another one like at the exact same time? I feel like they put out 2 really
The
close
Dead
together.
Reflection.
No, that was great because that had Retrograde and like Aquamarine.
Did Rescue Me.
Shorts.
It's like the bird with the
Rescue.
lamp.
Yeah, Rescue. I don't know too well,
Rescue. That's it.
but it could have just been like I wasn't listening to them much at the time. Shipwreck in the Sand was great.
That's
Where
right up
was
there
the?
with Waterfront for me.
I don't even see the Buffalo album. Wasn't with Massachusetts?
This is the way the wind blows, right? This is the way the wind
Oh
shifts.
yeah, there it is. There it is.
The way the wind shifts.
Yes.
Shifts or blows.
Shifts. 21 songs. So that could have just been an album that was too long and it scared me.
Where they put out the bonus, which made it even longer.
True. It's only 58 minutes. It's not even that long. I don't know. I don't know why I thought they put out 2 back to back. I might have just been not paying attention. But yeah, they don't really put out bad albums.
They do not.
I hope they keep it up. What else is on your list?
So this was also a new addition. So Kendrick Lamar announced his anticipated new album is coming out May 13th. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Yes.
So I'm very excited for this one.
I don't know why that name makes me think it's going to be funky. Like maybe we'll get like a Bruno Mars feature or something.
You never really know what he's going to put out, which is always exciting with him.
And he's also never disappointed.
No. He's got a perfect batting average right now.
Yeah. He's got a freaking what's it called? What's the writing award?
Oh, the Pulitzer?
Yeah, he's got a Pulitzer for an album. That's crazy. That's crazy. For I think it was Good Kid, Mad City that
it was,
he got
right?
it for. Or was it Damn? Might have been Damn.
It was one of the two.
I think it was Damn. But either way, yeah, he doesn't miss. Good Kid, Mad City is definitely my favorite album by him. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Backstreet Freestyle, Good Kid, and Mad City back to back, Swimming Pools, Money Trees.
Also like the Black Panther soundtrack too. that he did for
Is
the
that
movie.
is that all him?
Most of it is.
Huh. I don't think I ever actually put this on.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I was addicted to it for like 3 months when the movie came out.
Yeah, he is very good. Like his just flow is so unique.
There's no other rapper like him, really.
No. He's on a Mac song, which might have been like the first time I heard him on Macadelic.
Like early Mac,
Um
right?
no yeah, what's it called? Fight the Feeling. And that was the first time I heard his flow. And it's like choppy, but not like it's like he just puts pauses where you don't expect pauses, kind of.
He throws you off.
Yeah. But he also tells stories, which that's my favorite kind of rap is when they tell
Storytelling.
a story and I can understand the words. I'm not trying to be like, oh, mumble rap, because that's not what I'm getting at. But there's some rappers where I just don't know what they're saying. And the beat can be good and like the flow can be good, but if I'm missing the lyrics, like I'm not gonna stick with
You're
it.
not going to connect with it.
No. But yeah, I had him on mine too. So another one I have doesn't have a date, but it's been teased. Avenged Sevenfold.
I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, there's no date, so it could very well not be spring summer, but they put some hints out, and I feel like they're due
It's
big
been a
time.
really long time, right?
They've done some. They had it's called like The Stage or something like that. Like there's been a
I feel like
few.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that might have been. Since then is kind of when I like kind of fell off them. It just seemed a little too like shreddy for me, which like saying it out loud, like shreddy is not a bad thing, but it's just I don't know. I just felt like it was lacking
Like what
something.
the
Yeah, they
earlier
had The
stuff was.
Stage, and then they had one called Diamonds in the Rough. I don't even think I listened to, so maybe I should give it a shot. Um, but yeah, Hail to the King was like the last album that I really got into by them.
Yeah.
And even that was right after like the Rev died, and they had Mike Portnoy, the drummer
From Dream
from
Theater.
Jim. Yeah. And that album was just like kind of an ode to like 70s rock. Like they're not doing anything new, which is okay with me because all the songs are really good. But it was definitely kind of a different direction for them. I just feel like they're due for something interesting. And I hope
With the
they
time away, you'd think that could be coming.
yeah, like you don't take a break for 2+ years and just come back with more of the same. I think. Um, we'll find out. But yeah, there's no date, so but that's that's a big one for me because they were an important band for a long time. And
I love them growing up.
yeah, they need a resurgence. They're due. So bring it avenged. Show us what you got.
I think we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But next up for me, let's see which one should I do here. I'm just gonna go with State Champs. So their
Ooh.
new album, Kings of the New Age, drops on May 13th. And State Champs, I think, are probably one of the best pop punk bands around right now. They're a band that also hasn't missed in any of their releases. So I'm excited to hear what they have next, and hopefully they keep that momentum going. I feel like pop punk is kind of, you really have to dig to find good bands nowadays, but they're like one of the bigger bands out there. And literally, if you just put on any of their albums and play it the whole way through, and you're gonna have a good time. And I'm excited for this one.
All right. That's what I'm gonna listen to tomorrow then. Well, tomorrow's fish, but this week. Um I never I never got into them. I never like got out of them. Like I just never
They're a
really
lot of
listened to them
fun.
too much. Um a lot of pop punk tends to blend together for me. So I feel like I have my couple that I like and that's it. But I've obviously heard of State Champs a ton because they've been around for a little bit
They
and
have a
they
ton of
always
energy.
they always get high praise. Like I haven't been ignoring them for any specific reason.
No, I think you'll be pretty surprised with how much you like it when you give it a few
Nice.
spins.
Nice. Um, so I'm gonna take. Is there a date for Sum 41?
Not yet. I'm assuming it's summer because why else would you go on tour?
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, they're on my list. Um, which we've already discussed on this podcast, but the Heaven and Hell album, whenever it comes out, I'm looking forward to it. Double album,
That one should be phenomenal.
heavy and less heavy. We'll see what they bring.
I'm
See how
excited
they
for the
do.
heavy one. Well, even the heaven, right?
Yeah,
With Heaven
well,
and Hell, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Even
Hell
that
would
I'm
be
sure will
heavy.
be good because they know how to write a ballad. So
Yeah, yeah. I, I, they're just good songwriters.
they're a great band.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna bring. In that interview on was it Rolling Stone? Whoever you read that
It was
after
Rolling Stone.
after talking
Yeah.
about how Rolling Stone doesn't have good interviews, we'll reference a Rolling Stone interview. But yeah, that interview got me like real hyped for it because he just seemed like really genuinely excited for it, which makes
You
me
don't really hear
excited.
too much. Yep.
Yeah. It'd be easy for a band at their age to just be like, yeah, we're putting out another album, like it's gonna be great, whatever. But he seemed like whatever happened to him during quarantine and driving around LA, he had some sort of like new life brought to him and he wanted to write songs again. So
All for it.
yeah. Yeah. All right. I have one more. How about you?
Got a couple,
Ooh.
but there's one I'm torn on. So I could probably save the one for last and throw it at you just to see what you think. But probably my next one we've discussed on the show already, which is Alexis on Fire,
Yes.
which Otherness coming out on June 24th, their first album in almost a decade. So the single is awesome. They still sound great live. So I'm hoping it's a throwback to good Alexis on Fire. But I mean, we'll see. I'm trying to get my hopes up too much, but I feel like there's too much talent in that band for this one to disappoint.
Hell yeah. It's the same logic we just talked about. Like you don't take a break for that long and decide to
No,
come back and not bring it.
like what Tool did 13 years, and then we got Fear Inoculum, and it was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. If they weren't genuinely excited to do these things,
They wouldn't
like
do it.
I don't think so. Like I know, like it's their job and they're gonna make some money off it, but like they could just tour an old album if they really wanted to. Like I think they got something good in the works if they're deciding to come back like that. June 24th. That'll be great. Middle of summer.
Right before 4th of July week.
Some heavy music. I love it. I love it. My last album is a fall album.
Uh,
So not a spring or summer release. But Youngblood
I'll
is going
allow
to
it.
come out with something this year, and I love him. I love Dom. He's the man. He writes the best songs. He does what he wants. His albums have songs from genres all over the place. I am a huge Youngblood fan, even if I am too old to be a Youngblood fan. I don't care. That guy is just straight up good, and I am so excited to follow his career.
Well,
I can't. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to hear it.
he makes really enjoyable music, so I don't think you're too old for him. I think it's just good music is good music.
Yeah. Well, when I went to the show, I was too old for it because I was looking around and it was we were at that show. It was at I want to say Webster, but no, Terminal 5 in the city. And me and my friend, me and my friend, we were very clearly like some of the oldest people there. And we're in the back and we're like, all right, when this next band ends, like the second to last opener, we're gonna make our move to like rush to the stage, get a good spot. So the band ends and we're all like gearing up because we're used to these shows where you have to like tunnel in, establish your spot. And it was like the most anticlimactic thing ever. We just took like 10 steps forward No one was in our way. There was just like little girls and boys everywhere. And we're just like towering over everyone. Like, all right, this spot looks good. That was way less work than we thought. Yeah,
I
we
thought it
were.
was gonna be like that scene in Just Friends, like Ryan Reynolds like beating the shit out of the kids on the ice rink. That's what you were gonna say. Like that's how you got to the front of the stage.
I'll just swing them in circles around my head like a lasso, just chucking them. No small children were hurt in the process of me and my friend enjoying the show. And it was even funnier because this is gonna make us sound like tools probably, but Youngblood's like, all right, I want everyone to like really like go crazy for this next song. Open up the pit, blah blah blah. English, oh yeah. And well, he starts playing. It was like the weakest pit I ever saw in my
Oh
life. We're
no.
like, bro, these kids got to come to like a Silverstein or a Day to Remember show or something and like
To
see what could
learn.
really happen. And like everyone was having fun. I'm not like making fun of people, but just he talked it up so much, and just the crowd was just young and didn't like it wasn't a violent, scary pit. It was just funny being on the older side of everything and watching a show like that because I was definitely aware that we were older, but he was great. I was so glad I went. And the day after that show, I couldn't make it, but he put out on Instagram, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Central Park and do a show. So come if you want. And like Central Park like filled up and he just played an acoustic show. And I love that
That's
so
pretty
much.
cool.
After the Boston show, he just went out on the streets, stood on top of his tour bus with an acoustic guitar and just started playing. Like, I love this guy so
Like no one
much.
really does that.
He's so
When they're
genuine.
done for the night.
Yeah. He's so genuine and he's humble. I'm a huge fan of him. So I'm excited. He has a single out now called Funeral. It's a great song.
Gotta
Uh,
check that one out.
yeah. Oh, you listen to a single?
Oh, maybe
Actually,
not then.
maybe it's not on
Or I'll break my rule for once.
one single won't kill you.
One single won't kill me.
Yeah. Okay. Those are my anticipated albums. What else?
All right, so
You
I
said you
had
had some more?
two more and an honorable mention. So I'm excited for Coheed and Cambria's A Window of the Waking Mind. I feel like Coheed and Cambria puts out really interesting music all the time,
Yes.
even though I sometimes forget about them. But then when I like revisit them, I'm like, holy shit, these guys are incredible musicians. I have no idea what's going on in the lyrics or the story at this point, but I just enjoy like the musicianship, if that's a word.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is good.
yeah.
Okay,
No, you're absolutely right. Because
but I'm sure the stories. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I was gonna say they put out a lot of music. Like those guys work real hard.
they really do.
And like you said, like it's easy to almost forget about them for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, but then when I hear a song by them, I'm like, oh wow, like this is good. Like, oh, I forget what their last single was.
The whole last album was really good that they put out.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
completely lost in
wasn't
the story. Like each album tells a story. I couldn't tell you
even...
anything about what's going on. I try to look that up, and then it could actually make it like a really interesting listening experience. But
Yeah,
the
it's like listening
guitars,
to a comic book.
drums, it really is. They actually have a comic book out, I think, or they did. I don't know if they still do.
The Dark Sentencer. I think that was like one of their latest ones. Well, that's 2018, but
That might be it then.
the Liars Club is what they have out right now. They have 3 singles out.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
listen
listen
to
to
them
them.
yet.
I will, and I won't tell you anything about them. So
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Then
definitely excited for them.
yeah, I can't wait.
Vaxis 2, A Window of the Awakening Mind.
Should be a good one.
May 27th. Kind of close. Month out. Month and a week.
And then so my last one was, do you ever listen to Beach Bunny?
No,
They're
I've never
very
heard
good.
of them.
Their debut Honeymoon was incredible. And they're finally putting out the follow-up full length called Emotional Creature, which drops on July 22nd.
Ooh.
Really fun band, really like, emotional lyrics that like hook you in, and just a ton of hooks. The choruses are good. everything about this band is great. So I highly recommend if you've never listened to Beach Bunny, go check them out.
Definitely. Definitely.
And my last honorable mention that I have some mixed feelings with because I feel like I haven't really connected with one of their albums since like their earlier releases, but Joyce Manor,
Yes, I saw that too.
self-titled June 10th. But I feel like their last one didn't stick with me at all.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping this is kind of like a return, not a return to form, but maybe pulls back some of the hooks that grabbed us at the beginning. Because I remember, was it Never Hungover Again that you were like obsessed with when it came out,
Yeah.
like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah. 20 like 13, 14.
Because they're short, fun songs. Like the whole album is like 20 minutes. Their albums are like 20 minutes long, pretty
That's
much.
awesome. I love when you can just like rip through an album like that.
It's like an EP almost, but they're technically full lengths, but
I think it's 10 songs. Just 10 like minute 40 songs.
10-minute songs. But yeah, not sure what your thoughts are on Joyce Manor though. Or if that's
I
just me.
I like kind of know that album that you mentioned. I always kind of just like they kind of just blended in with all like uh Jeff Rosenstock and like what's the other one? The band with the pizza on the front,
Oh, Tiger's Jaw?
Tiger's Jaw, and then there's the band that just has like the house on the front.
Hotelier?
Yes. See,
It's like a good game of trivia.
yeah, you're nailing it though.
Name that emo band.
Name that emo album cover. All these bands like kind of blend together, and I think Joyce Manor was like a band that I always just assumed I listened to, but I'm not sure I ever did listen to. Never Hungover Again looks familiar. I
Listen to that one. No, not the self-titled. Where is it self-titled?
there's one here. I just pulled them up called ST. So maybe that's supposed to
That
be
one.
self-titled.
Yep.
This
That
new one
one's
coming
sweet. That
out is
one's really
called
good.
40 Ounces to Fresno.
Oh,
So maybe
so I had the title wrong.
little
There we go.
little well, according to this Metacritic site, which is missing like 3 of the bands you mentioned. So I apparently can't trust Metacritic. No shade.
No,
but
no, but I think self-titled is like their best album. I think I just mixed it up by saying, but like that would have been like a Freudian slip there.
all right, I'll definitely check it out. Um, there's also 2 albums coming out next week. I was gonna say for the end, but I guess I'll just talk about them now real quick. Bowling for Soup has an album coming out, which I don't know if anyone in the world is having more fun than Bowling for Soup. Those guys just love what they do, and they've been doing it for so long. And this album is called Pop Drunk Snot Bread. So, yeah, I think it's
I
going
haven't
for
listened to them in a
Pop
really long
Punk's
time.
Not Dead. They have a song. Their single is called Brad Pitt, and the lyrics are just like "I want to be Brad Pitt," and all the verses are referencing movies he's done. They're like, "I want to bang Jennifer Aniston." And they start yelling, "What's in the box?" Like it is. It's
I gotta
ridiculous.
listen to this now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was talking to my friend who Mike G. He called in once, but he's a big Bowling for Soup fan, and he said he almost wishes that they would dial back the funny and just like put out like more normal songs because he thinks that like they lose credit because of that. But I almost think that's like their bread and butter. Like lean into it.
So
I
they took the
guess.
Blink like attitude of don't take anything seriously, but like kind of went off the deep end a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
When so I saw them at Warp Tour, and I think you stayed at the Offspring. We watched some Bowling for Soup, and then we ran to the Offspring. But they were on stage, and their bass player had a giant handle of Jack that he was just like swinging the whole time. And then they're like, "Hey, you guys like Stacy's mom?" And the crowd goes crazy, and they're like, "Well, we didn't write that, but we're gonna just play it anyway. So fuck you." Like they're so self-aware and just they crack me up. They're touring with Less Than Jake and uh I'm gonna look it up because I can't remember. But it's Less Than Jake, Bowling for Soup, and then like
Building
another
Fish.
yeah, it's like another OG like ska band. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But
Goldfinger.
oh man, Goldfinger, forget it. I would already have tickets because that it's like is it the one Travis Barker was in, but he's not in anymore? What's the one that he was in for a little bit? Do you
We had the
remember?
side project with Rancid.
Aquabats?
Oh, was he in Aquabats?
Yeah, he was in Aquabats at some point. I think it might be Aquabats, Less Than Jake, and Bowling for Soup.
Okay, because he was in Transplants for a little bit with
Oh yeah,
the guy
true.
Tim from Rancid.
Maybe he wasn't in Aquabats. He was in. No, he was definitely in Aquabats, and he was probably in Transcendence too. I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't old enough. It's all just history for me.
Same.
We need punk rock history classes. But yeah, Less Than Jake, Bowling for Soup sounds like a great concert.
So last week you sent me down the Linkin Park rabbit hole. I think this week is Bowling for Soup rabbit hole.
Do it. Do it. Their first two albums I loved, with like Almost and then Come Back to Texas. And
You're all the bad guys want.
yeah, yeah, those are the two albums, one with the TV on front and then with the one with them dancing. I, Drunk Enough to Dance, I think it was called. And then a
was on that
hangover
too.
you don't deserve. 1985 was a cover.
It was
Fun
a
fact.
cover, right? Yeah.
Always surprises me. I don't know the original band, and they didn't do a good enough job because, as far as I'm concerned, it's Bowling for
Bowling for
Soup
Soup
song.
did it.
But crazy that song's a cover, and it's like their most popular song. You think that upsets them? Would you be upset if your band's most popular song was a cover?
Be a little bothered.
I
I
think
feel like the
so.
same thing with the Ataris. Like their Boys of Summer cover is like their
Yeah,
biggest song.
yeah. I think part of me would be a little disappointed, and then I'd also just kind of be happy that I have a popular song at
Yeah.
all.
That people like something that you put out.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd probably be a little disappointed. So Brett, you had a new segment idea. Do you want to let the people know?
I do. So this segment is based off one of my all-time favorite movies, Tommy Boy. And it's not the quote that you might be thinking of, but there's a it's not that one.
It's not about bands who wear clothes that are too small for them.
It's not, unfortunately.
Damn.
Great line, but that's not. So growing up, like my friends and I would like pretty much memorize every single line in this movie. So that's probably the only reason why I remember this quote. So there's a scene. There's a scene when he's talking to his love interest, and he says, "Hey, remember your brother Dwayne?" And for some reason, we always thought it was like the funniest line ever, because like, why would she not remember who her brother is? But but I feel like that concept can be applied to bands that you haven't thought of in a long time, but you know they're still there. So,
Ooh.
hey, remember System of a Down?
Wow, I do remember System of a Down. They have the song Harry Balls. I mean Aerials, excuse me.
I was like, do they?
Harry Balls between my thighs.
That Weird Al?
I heard it on a serious once, and it just always really stuck with me. System of a Down. When was the last time they've done something? I didn't know they weren't still a band, but I haven't heard new System of a Down.
That's the thing. So
Huh.
now they play like the occasional festival, but they're pretty much trending towards we're never getting another album from them again. The last one they released was in 2005, which is when they put out Mesmerized and Hypnotized in the same year. And then we actually got two new singles from them in 2020. Because I guess like they're from Armenia.
Yes. So yeah.
Yep. So there's like a war breaking out there. So they put out two songs that would go towards like supporting anyone affected by that war. But then the guitarist came out at that time and said like, we're pretty much like, I don't plan on us ever making any new music any other time soon. And these
Wow.
singles are basically more of a one-off. But when you listen to like their earlier catalog, like it makes no sense why they're not still making music. They had such a good run early on. And like some of those songs are so iconic. Like you hear them at every concert you go to. I can't name a single concert I've been to where like they don't play Aerials or Chop Suey before the band, or Toxicity.
Yes.
And Chop Suey before the band comes out on stage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those are our staple songs. The album with it looks like the Hollywood sign, but it says System of a Down. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh my God. They were like one of the first like cool, weird bands to like in high school. Like I always remember like the kids who like System of a Down like knew what was up with music. They were like the
'Cause,
metal kids, but not metal. Like they definitely like Tool also.
yeah, like there's like a beauty, like they're like such a weird band and they're heavy, but there's like a beauty in their music too. Like you hear that in
Yes.
Chop Suey like towards the
Oh
end.
my God. 100%.
Yep.
Like like Angels Deserve to Die when like it's such a heavy aggressive song and then they go into that like beautiful part.
It's like glittery.
Yeah, it's like when they're going crazy and fast, it's almost funny and you're like what even is this? And then they turn it on you and the contrast is just so good. And they had that album so I don't really know songs on this album, but I know the cover,
The
Steal
Hand
This Album,
or Steal This Album.
which just looks like a burned CD that someone scribbled System of a Down on, which is
Because I
just
think
so
like it got
perfect.
leaked and they got pissed off about it, so they put it out like that.
That's
At
a
least that's the
power
story I
move.
heard.
I mean, it was right in like
The
the
Napster
height
days.
of like yeah, Napster, LimeWire, BearShare, Kazaa. Uh, wow, there were so many. I'm gonna list them all out, but not right now. But yeah, that was when Metallica got really mad. Kind of rightfully so, but probably still
They
should
still
have just
ruined
let it
it.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was worth the backlash. System of a Down. Hey, I do remember System of a Down, and I wonder what they're up to.
Also a band I've never gotten to see live, but would love to. But
Yeah. To me, like you said, like they seem like a festival band. Like if they did a tour, I'd probably try and go. Don't get me wrong, but like they seem like a band that, hey, I'm going to blah 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 festival. System of a Down's headlining Sunday night.
and everyone would know
Like
who they are.
yeah, because I'm looking at like their like this is right now, and there's songs that I forgot I knew that I know. Like
BYOB,
yeah,
Cigaro,
Hypnotized, Toxicity, Spiders.
Sugar's a
Uh
good one.
yeah, like
Deer Dance,
they're a
Shimmy,
really good band. Do you ever see that video of that little
Prison.
girl like covering it might be Chop Suey on drums? I remember Dave Grohl shared it.
But he was that the one that he got in the drum contest with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she like crushes it. Wow, what song is it? Um it was so good.
The
Definitely
Toxicity.
worth looking up. Yeah, this is it. It is Toxicity. You're right. You're right. Um she's like screaming with it and you just
Having a great time.
the breakdown. When I'm a I can't do it. I don't know the song well enough.
Drums
But
go
like,
like nuts at that part.
yeah, it's so good. Just Google little girl play System of a Down and like have your mind blown and then feel like you
What's her
haven't
name?
accomplished anything.
What's her name? It's like Nandi,
That
Nimi, Nandi,
Nandi Bushell.
Nandi. There we go.
Shout out Nandi Bushell. Maybe she's a listener.
Maybe she's the next Foo Fighters drummer
Ooh,
if they choose to
if they choose to.
go forward.
There was also another death this week. Dance Gavin Dance's bass player passed away.
Oh, I did not know that.
Let me get his name so I can Tim. Is it Tim? Um yeah, Tim Ferrick. But they put out a thing basically saying, which I just thought it was like an interesting view after just going through what the Foo Fighters went through. And it's unique for each band, so they're gonna do what they have to. But they were like, we're still gonna play this festival and we have an album ready to come out that we're still gonna put out. We thought a lot about it and we talked with his parents and like we know him and we know that he'd be pissed if like we canceled our tour, and part of our grieving process is all being together and playing music, and we want to do that like in his honor, and we want like our fans to come out too. It was really nice, and it's not like a knock at Foo Fighters for not touring at all. That's not what I'm getting at. I just think it's interesting how these different bands deal with these kind of things.
That actually reminds me. Up Rocks actually had a really good article kind of getting into this. And think the article headline was like, "Should the Foo Fighters like remain a band, or will the Foo Fighters remain a band still?" And they kind of lay out the case for like how each band's unique, like how when Keith Moon died with the Who chose to go forward, but like when John Bonham died with Led Zeppelin, like Led Zeppelin stopped because that was like Robert Plant's
Yeah.
best friend. So it really depends on what they want to do. Like there's no right or wrong answer here. But
Yeah.
I still think it's hard to see them going forward, knowing how close they were. Like I mentioned a
Yeah.
really good point. Like they put out a documentary in 2011 called Back and Forth. And I forgot about this thing. Like Taylor Hawkins like OD'd and like almost died in 2001. Like he was in like a coma for 2 weeks. And like you see in the documentary like
Wow.
how like emotional it still got Dave Grohl like a decade later. So you can only imagine how he took like his actual death.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's a tough scene to watch with hindsight now, but it's even tougher to imagine like how they do go forward.
Yeah. At the very least, they need some time to think about it, decide what they want to do.
Support them either way.
Yes, 100%. All the bands have to do what's best for them. And whatever it is, we're grateful for the music they've done. And we'll be happy for the music they do. And if they don't, that's their choice and it's okay. Um, yeah, System of a Down. I remember them. And I wonder if they'll ever, I mean, I'm sure they seem like a band that will tour occasionally still. I can't imagine they're like not a band anymore.
I think they do like select dates, but most of them are always in like California. I think that's where they live, maybe.
Uh, there's a really cool video of them playing, and I think it's like in Armenia or something. And there's a lightning storm going on while they're playing, and
That's pretty
it's
cool.
yeah, it's so rad. Cause like I just love a good like thunder lightning storm, and then for them to play like epic metal music in the middle
While
of
it's
it,
going on.
oh my god, it's really cool. I think you could just YouTube like System of a Down lightning storm, and it should come up. But yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, next week we have we have two albums. One we talked about, one we didn't. We have Bowling for Soup, Punk Drunk Snot Bread. And then there's another band that I personally like a whole lot called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They're an
You have to spell
Australian.
that one out for me.
Yeah, I'll text it to you. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They're an Australian psychedelic band out of Melbourne, and they're really cool. Like they do this psychedelic stoner rock kind of thing. They have like over 15 albums, I think. It's kind of wild. And one of these albums, they just decided like we're just gonna do a heavy metal album, and they just did that just for no reason. What's it called? Fly. What's it called? Fly in the something. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but check that one out. Check that album out that I can't name.
That you can't name.
um, they're crazy. These guys, they they try all these different things. Like one album, they just like they had these guitars made that like weren't in a normal tuning, and they just played on that. They one year they decided they were going to put out 4 studio albums in a year, and they did it. Like Infect the Rat's Nest. That's what the metal album's called. I don't know where I got Fly from. Rat's Nest, Fly, whatever. But they're just a really creative band. And Australians are fucking cool. They have like crazy bugs and shit.
They do though.
Who doesn't love a cool Australian and a giant spider? Um yeah, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard next week. Get ready.
It's a great name.
Yeah. Almost as good as the Daddy's Hyenas.
Prince Daddy and the Hyena.
I forgot Prince this time, but I remember Daddy. Yeah. So yeah, we got that. And I will recap my Phish adventures because it is always an adventure. And I am so
And maybe a
excited.
guest too.
This time tomorrow, I'll just be rocking out to Phish in the Garden. Yes.
Have some serious FOMO going on.
Oh, I'm so excited. Come in blind with us Friday. Try and scalp a ticket. It's
I wish.
yeah, it's
Next time I'm in.
yeah. The AC shows will make happen for sure. But yeah, that's our show. Thank you everyone for being here. As always, we love you. And we can't wait for next episode and to bring you more incoherent rambling.
The perfect 420 episode. That's what I
Oh
think
yeah,
this was.
100%. I'm not
Enjoy the
stoned, by
holiday,
way.
everyone.
Yes, enjoy. Get ready. I'm sure there will be some live fish posted on YouTube. So look it up and join the party. We love you. See everyone next week. Bye, Brett.
Bye, Nick. Love you guys.
Bye.
Nice. 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 Nice.